Okie dokie net, so welcome back to another Bazaar of Baghdad video. What we've got here is an AggroVine list. I played something very similar in the showcase the other day to a not very successful finish. I'm not sure how much of that was to do with the deck not being in a great spot, and how much of that was to do with the fact that I'd got off of a long haul flight a mere few hours before, and slept for a few hours and then woke up and played vintage. So I'm going to run it through a league again. The one change I've made is an 18th land, an additional cradle here, additional Yavimaya Cradle of Growth, and minus a Null Rod that I had main deck for the event. So yeah, pretty what's currently like the more stock standard AggroVine decks, where they've adopted Squee Goblin of Bob, which is from Kiwiki, I think the Modo name is, who started doing this, and it's pretty cool. Means your bazaars have got a bit more equity and discard throughout the game. You can actually gain some advantage off of your bazaars rather than just like a sculpting every other turn after the first activation sort of thing. And they've got 4 traps as well, so we're not just dead. That complements Chalice and Misstep. And then we've got the classic Vengevine package of Hollow Want and 8 Lizards, 3 Hex Drinkers, which are pretty good against the Bazaar matchups, pretty good against Mono White, and I think probably good against the Lurus decks once you've managed to get it to level 3, the protection from instants, so then it can't die to a Bowmaster or a Plough. 4 Vigors as well. So I think that's all pretty normal. One card I'm interested in as well is Pick Your Poison here. So I've got 2 of these in the board at the moment. Each opponent sacrifices an Urza's Saga, or each Oath opponent sacrifices a creature with flying, or an Oath of Druids, is roughly where I'm looking at it. Sacrificing artifacts difficult in vintage, right? Everyone's got Moxen, so it's just sacrifice a land. I've got a 5th Null Rod, 3 Dismembers, the last 2 Besajus, some Surgicals, and 3 Cages. So another hedge against Null Rod, against Oath of Druids, and that's going to be our Dredge Hate as well. So against Oath, we've got quite a few like cards to bring in, right? Like 7 cards to make space for, which is probably just Oofs and Hex Drinkers. And then after that, everything hates on enchantments and Oath of Druids. So seems good. We're going to give it a go through a league. I believe we've got an opponent somewhere. There they are. We're up against Trogdor 1396, so pretty old. I'm gonna mulligan this, and if I knew what they were on, then there's like elements to like, oh, I've got a Chalice and a turn 2 Collector Roof, but I think we're just mulligan and go find a Bazaar of Baghdad. We've done that, so we'll keep this. I'm just going to bottom the Oof and one of the traps. So we've got some hate for Sagas and non-basic lands, and potentially an early Vengevine, and that's going to be where we go from. They did reveal a Lurus, so maybe I could have used my brain a bit more in that mulligan decision there, but I think this is fine. If it looks like a Bowman, does it have to be a Bowman? That is the question. So just land, jet, go. We don't know if they're on. Yeah, we'll send into a Bowman. It doesn't matter. No Bowman. Cool. So green lizard, red lizard, Vengevine. They're going to be the go-tos here. And we hold the green lizard because it is something we can pitch to a Vigor if that's what we want to do with ourselves. So let's send the Vengevine. And they're not going to have Tabernacle or anything like that, so I think we just hold the Lotus just in case we want the additional discard later. But one thing to note is that next turn casting Lotus with the Wasteland, if we're not wasting, is going to be a hardcast Mindbreak trap. So there's a Tundra from our opponent, and end step snap caster mage targeting nothing. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. So they wasteland up Bazaar, that's fine. My Magic Online's been struggling the last day or so, I'm not sure what's going on. I've got a Mox Emerald. So let's go Lotus. They might fight that actually. Emerald. Are they fighting this mana? No. Wasteland. And then send it to the squad. I don't think I develop this lizard post-combat. No, they just concede. So that's an interesting concession there. I don't really know what to make of it. All I'm doing is attacking for 6. Maybe 8. But maybe their hand's just mono Flusterstorms and Spell Pierces and it didn't actually do anything. So I think we want some dismembers here. I'm really interested in Pick Your Poison in this matchup because it's just yet another answer to Saga. But I do wonder if it's just better to be ignoring that idea, having another dismember, so we've got plenty against Lavinia and Lurrus. I imagine they're going to have post-board containment priests. I don't think they're particularly good against us, but I expect them to have them. I'm going to drop the 4 traps. The white decks rarely go ham. The black decks, I think you've got a bit of trap equity. I think I'll just bring in a Besaiger or Pick Your Poison, one of those two. They don't have flyers, they don't have artifacts, so it's just... Yeah, let's just bring in an additional Besaiger. Yeah, I think that's fine. So yeah, the showcase the other day I got absolutely demolished. I beat Oath in round 1 and then lost a bunch. So I wanted to give the deck another chance before completely being like, oh my god, AggroVine's unplayable, you know? And people have been doing well with it recently, so good on them. So it's clearly not unplayable. It's more likely I'm the problem. This hand doesn't really do anything. And this hand's also crap. To 4. There we go. 2 Bazaars. So Dismember can go... So what does that look like? Before we press done. I've got a draw step as well actually, so I get to keep a Bazaar and a Hollow One. So hopefully no turn 1 Lavinia, because that would be really annoying against this hand. Hopefully no turn 1 Needle, because that would be even more annoying against this hand. But they bauble me. They Soul Guide. They're bauble, sure. So draw a card. I draw a full house. So I'm going to hold one of these Vengevines in my hand and cast a Hollow One. So over to the opponent. We've obviously gone really low here, so we're not expecting to do much in terms of winning. But we might be able to apply some pressure, I'm not sure. So Squeeze quite a cool draw there. No plough. I guess I'll go and look for another Hollow One. Didn't find it. So I'm going to hold on to this Hex Drinker. Hex Drinker or Collector Roof. So any green source gives me Hex Drinker. One of 3 cradles gives me oof. So I think I'm just going to get words, Josh. I think I'm going to keep the Hex Drinker around. I think that one's a bit better longer term. I know I've discarded my Vengevine and whatever, but okay. Here comes a Lavinia, I guess. So yeah, Lavinia comes down. I control 1 land. I agree with that assessment, Lavinia. Well done. So now do I get my squee back? This is always the big question. No. Okay. Fine. I would like to use squeeze ability though. So let's attack for 4. And pass. There's not really much point in activating here because I only get to keep 1 of the cards. So it's hard for that card to be an answer to Lavinia and a land to cast my Hex Drinker, you know. So if he plays another land, they're on 11, but at some point they're going to draw themselves a plough, you know. So no attack is weird. Let's attack. Let's activate now because I want to find cards that are relevant. I didn't do that. So discard the stuff that we can't cast. Sure, you got Containment Priest. Let's attack, see if they double block. I mean, if they double block, I feel stupid about the fact that I activated pre-combat. But I'll just play a Wasteland and pass. They go to 6. At some point they get to buy a Lurus and get back their Soul Guide Lantern. Now they plough me. Oh no, Lorien revealed. Okay. So they've got all of their Tundras. Congratulations. Have you got something to do against this hollow one? So 4 cards in the hand, 3 cards after the Tundra comes in. No attacks again. Which is kind of wild to me. So let's activate the Bazaar. I'm not sure why actually, that was awful. Hideous activation. For all the logic that we said beforehand, is it just doesn't get us anywhere. Like if I draw the green source, I've got to discard the Hex Drinker, and if I don't draw the green source, I have to keep the Hex Drinker. But then the big downside, right, is now if I draw Dismember, am I supposed to hold on to Dismember because it's any land, or am I supposed to hold on to Hex Drinker because it's a threat and my Hollow One's never winning the game, right? Actually, I think what I'm going to do is discard both of them and hold this Hollow One and hope at some point they have to block. They haven't bought Lurus though, which is the bit that's confusing. They haven't drawn any cards really. They drew 1 off of a bauble on turn 1. Okay, so Snapcaster Mage. And then we learn what they value more. Is it Lavinia? Is it the Containment Priest? It's Lavinia, which is annoying. So let's go to the next game. I am done with this one. That activation was really bad. If I wait a turn, I draw my green source and I have Dismember or a Hex Drinker, and I get to make that decision on that point. I think I'm going to resubmit as we are though. I think I like the list as we've got it. We need to not mulligan to 4. We've been to 4 and 5 so far. One of those games we won, one of those games wasn't really close. This doesn't have a bazaar, so I'm just going to powder this away. All the vigors can go, don't need those. What does this hand do? Play Passageau, play Wasteland, play Passageau, play Collect Roof, play Cradle, play Collect Roof, Passageau, Wasteland. I think I might keep this. Right, this is a 7. I've definitely got better 6s. Like this looks good. So we'll keep this. I might just bottom this vigor, I think. And then I've only got a 1/1 for pressure, but doesn't sound like too much of a problem. Let's give the bazaar a spin. So yeah, squeeing 2 lizards, that's a nice amount of pressure. Mana sort of rolled up for a while. You can usually assume that post board they're going to be on a wasteland hand or something to fight the bazaar. In this spot we'd probably prefer it to be a needle, just because the bazaar's not done, right? We can always do more with the bazaar. This is a nice little clock. I got Tundra. Just Soul Guide Lantern, that's fine. Soul Guide Lanterns, it was obviously decent last game when we were on Malta 4 and just on mono bazaars. But Soul Guide Lantern's not the end of the world. So we'll play the Cradle. We'll cast the Collect Roof. Soul Guide's now dead and my bazaar is alive again. And we'll get him for 2. And then next turn we can dismember a Lavinia if we want to. So blue is a ponder for them. So they're going to need to play to the board at some point. Whether that's through plows or maybe if they've got balance in their deck somewhere, I don't know how they're built at the moment. So Saga, that's not too much of a drama at this stage, I don't think. Definitely not a drama now. So let's go to combat and we'll get in for the full 6 points of damage here. We will pump this lizard, I think that's better. So I like all the cards in my hand, right? Let's go strip mine your Urza Saga. I wonder if I'm supposed to upkeep the strip there rather than do it then. So they've always got the opportunity to pay for the Lorien revealed anyway, so yeah, I think doing it on my turn's fine. Wasteland comes down, binks my Cradle. So does that mean our opponent's holding a Tabernacle that we need to prepare for? I've got another one. That was a nice draw. So let's get in for 6 again, because that's just lining up lethal for next turn. They need something. Obviously they've got 7 cards in hand. But if their land drops a Tabernacle, I guess Tabernacle does make mana. So they can get Tabernacle, trade with Containment Priest sort of thing. Oh no, they're still on setup. It makes me feel good about this game, if we can get there. And this is one of these things about this deck, is you feel constantly behind and then your opponent concedes. And I feel like every match win, every game win feels like you get there on the skin of your teeth sort of thing. But so we've got a match there against Blue White Lurrus. I'm not used to beating Lurrus, that's pretty cool. yeah, see you for round 2. Okay, round 2, we're up against Lewis Paul. And we're going to mulligan to 6. We were on the play, which is cool. We've got really strong outs for turn 2 double vine. I might lead on Lotus here. I might just cast Black Lotus first and then play the Bazaar. So I'll keep this and I'll bottom the Yavimaya Cradle, because I've got aspirations for bigger things. So done there. And I'm just going to cast Black Lotus, I think. Yeah. So let's cast Lotus before we show the Bazaar. Any creature. There we go. So 1, 2. The 2 Vengevines for sure. And then it's whether it's Cradle or Wasteland. They haven't shown us Allurus, but that doesn't mean they don't have Sagas. I think I've just got to discard the Wasteland and have the Cradle be great next turn to get my Hex Drinker online. Let's discard Wasteland. Let's cast Hollow One first, because I don't want to accidentally cycle it with 2 mana floating. So GGG, Hex Drinker, bring back 2 Vengevines. Yep. And then 2 counters onto the Hex Drinker. And then next turn the Hex Drinker is going to get very big as well. And now our opponent will pass the turn to our opponent here, and they'll go like Mana Crypt Workshop, Golos, get Tabernacle, and we'll lose. I don't know. But a pretty decent turn 1. Opponent did mulligan to 6. I don't know what that really... You can't really deduce anything from 6, can you? 4, and you can assume 6 is just they had a crap hand. But the nice thing is they're dead on board. The not nice thing is we've got nothing to stop them from killing us, right? And we are playing a round of Vintage, so Tropical Island into Ponder. I like that a lot. So to me that stinks of Oath of Druids. Trop into Ponder. I think you can safely put your opponents on Oath when you go to sideboarding, if that's all you see. They could show and tell and attract, like Lotus show attracts would be sick. But I'm going to assume that we're up against Oath of Druids. I'm going to bring in 2 Pick Your Poisons. I'm going to bring in 2 Besejus and 3 Cages. On the draw, we can drop Chalice. I think the Oofs are questionable. I think the Hex Drinkers are questionable. Do I want to drop another Hex Drinker? The traps are really bad as well, actually. So I'm actually going to drop 2 traps and keep all the Hex Drinkers, because they can push through the last few points of damage through an Atraxa, if that resolves. And they might not be on Oath, but I think Trop Ponder, I can just fully lean into the fact that they're on Oath and go from there. Yeah, we'll see how these Pick Your Poisons do. So the big joke on Pick Your Poison, right, is that your opponent Oaths or Show and Tells uses a bunch of resources to put a big fat creature into play, and post board against Bazaar, a lot of the time that's going to be a Serra's Emissary, and we might just be able to Pick Your Poison that away. I'm going to powder this hand, so you can just Pick Your Poison the Serra's Emissary and be very pleased with yourself. So let's mulligan this, and another turn 1 Vengevine. I'm going to bottom the Hex Drinker and hold the Vigor in case they just go turn 1 Oath. We can pitch this Lizard right now. They don't go turn 1 Oath, just turn 1 Trop. So like Mox Emerald would be a stunning draw here, but we did not get it. So let's activate. Okay, How do we play this? So I think I'm going to discard Vengevine, Powder, Wasteland. Play 2 hollow ones, reanimate Vengevine. Hold the Lizard. So I've got a green card for Vigor. And then next turn I'm a land away from caging. Yeah, because I've got 2 pieces of interaction if they play an Oath. So hollow one. Hollow one. Like the first piece of interaction is good. The second piece of interaction, the cage, is like a hope and a prayer, right? It's finding another mana source. But this is an aggressive start, which I like. I could have discarded the Lizard and held a Wasteland to guarantee the cage, but then I don't have the crop rotation. Okay, so we're just completely fucked, I guess. Yeah, Tabernacle, that's fine. Right. Cool. What are we playing against? We're gonna have to let them sit through and kill us, I think. Because we have been duped. So it's gonna be like a land combo deck. So what does that mean? Obviously our sideboarding's horrific. And I've got Vigor in my hand, so I've got to click through. That's brutal. I'm just exceptionally distressed about the requirement to click. So yeah, you got Vengevine, you got Crop Rot. Like Lizard attacking a billion times doesn't really sound like it's winning, does it? Let's just play the Cradle and we'll roll out the cage. Like they've got a Soul Guide Lantern. My Vengevines are dead. One of them already is. So they're going to preordain. I just want more information about what they're doing. Like, they just on like the Crop Rot Oath deck that people were playing a while ago. I don't know when that was, like June time last year, mid last year. There was that Crop Rot Oath deck for a few weeks. Or and like, am I on the right track here in that sense? Or is it a case of that they're on an actual factual land combo deck, and they're trying to kill me with Hadron Crab or some crap? Cool. So they had a Wasteland. Yeah. So my turns I don't have to click through, right? But their turn I do because I've got a Vigor. Okay. So Misty Rainforest comes down. Time Walk's fine. And Caracas into Oko Thief of Crowns. So maybe I'm just not gonna get more info from them. I guess next turn I get to. Okay, no, nothing there. I'm exceptionally dead. We know that, but what is going on? I could have figured in response, but I'm actually really excited about the prospect that this game could end. Let's just figure this. Oh, no, it's not. Caracas is interesting. Lauren revealed, sure. Maybe this is it. Maybe it's just like blue-green Crop Rot control. So they're getting for another 3. ends up, I'm going to vigor these two. I'm going to pitch a vigor for life equity. And that my turns will now just pass themselves, and I won't have to do any sort of inputs. So they draw a card off the Soul Guide Lantern, they crack the food. I draw a Bazaar, but there's still a Tabernacle over there. Cool, let's wrap it up. I don't know what we're against particularly, but Crop Rot is a beating. And see, Null Rod and Collector still don't seem good, right? I just need to consider Tabernacle, and maybe slow roll how I get there. I could bring in Surgicals and like try and Surgical Wastelands, Surgical Crop Rots or something. I like do I like Chalice on the draw? Probably not. Chalice is probably pretty bad against. Like if you're deep enough into your lands packages that you're crop rotting. But then 3 cages seems really loose if they're not actually Oath. But I feel like they have to be Oath. I don't think you can just be blue-green Oko with crop rot. Okay, I did actually look the player up and they didn't have any results with anything. Well, no, they did have results. They had some Grixis Underworld Breach, which were clearly not against. And they had some previous Oath of Druids. This hand doesn't do anything either, does it? No. Cool. Down to 6. Also does nothing. Let's keep a Strip Mine in our deck. Yeah. And let's keep this hand. And let's get an activation going. So I'm going to discard something. So what I'm thinking here, right, is like I can obviously discard Lizard, cast a Hollow 1, attack for 4. And then they can just go Tropical Island, Crop Rot, Tabernacle your guys, you lose. So I think what I'm going to do is discard the Hex Drinker or Pick Your Poison. Let our opponent do something. And then on, like, maybe we just Wasteland me or Crop Rot for Wasteland. And then next turn I've got the second Bazaar rolled up, so I can Bazaar into the Reanimate. And maybe a land as well. I think I'm going to discard the Hex Drinker. I'm going to pass the turn. Well, I could play a Hollow 1 actually. Do I want to play a Hollow 1? I don't think so. I don't think I want to gamble that hard. So, Mox Emerald. Fast Bonds. It's a Fast Bond combo deck. Strip Mine. They strip me. Play a Misty. Play a Saga. Play a Misty. Do you have a walk as well? That'd be kind of messed up. Life from the Lane, back your lands. Soul Guide Lantern. Well, get wrecked, I guess. Okay, that wasn't great. Now I guess I have to kind of send And I could never beat a Tabernacle against Life from the Loam. I could never beat a Tabernacle with Life from the Loam Strip Mine and Fast Bond, right? Because they just Tabernacle, strip my Cradle, and everything dies. So I slow rolled it a bit to try and play around something, but that opener is not something I'm beating in a hurry. So they might just draw a card here. No. Saga's going to pop off as well. This is quite unfortunate. Cool deck that the opponent's got. I love this sort of deck. I think it's really fun. They didn't dredge loam there, which is interesting. So maybe they've just got the Tabernacle already rolled up. Because, okay. So let's attack for 8. They're going to make a 3/3. I would have thought dredging loam looking for Tabernacle if you don't have it would be better there. But apparently not. Wasteland your Urza Saga. You make a 3/3. Draw step, do you want your loam? No, they don't want the loam. We've got Misty. They've got 2 cards in hand. And apparently something to do for 4 or 5 mana. So just Vigor then. I mean, I'm going to attack with all my creatures. It's got to be Force of Vigor, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's going to be difficult to beat. I guess we just pass then, I guess, at this point. Like, I can't play with my lands because of Strip Mine. They did dredge a loam that time. They hit the world. I want to play their deck. I absolutely love Life from the Loam. I think it's one of the coolest cards like ever. Because it's just like the pinnacle of do nothing. So what do we do here? Play Bazaar, activate Bazaar, go up to 4, go down to 3. Go down to 1. I can't count. These Sagas are just going to bury me. I can't push through damage. Next turn you get 3 blockers. You'll have 3 blockers up. I can't reanimate anything. No, I think we're dead. I think we're dead. Let's give it a little look. No, we're just gonna lose. I can keep the Hex Drinker and try and find a Cradle, but I think it's just done, especially with that Strip Mine on the loop. So we'll go to match 3 here. That's cool though. I like that deck. I was never convinced that they weren't on Oath until we saw the Fast Bond game 3 sort of thing. Like, I still think with the information we had after game 2, they could have been on some weird Oath list. But it's game 3 where we saw Loam and Fast Bond and Saga. So maybe our sideboarding was slightly wrong. Maybe I wanted those surgicals and that sort of thing. But yeah, no, cool deck, cool match. I'll see you for round 3. Okay, round 3 on the draw against Leo Fa, who has revealed themselves a Lurus. We've got ourselves a Bazaar, some other lands, 1 entire Lizard, and I think Lizards beat Cats, that's what I heard. That's what I want to believe anyway. So let's hope they've got something busted, but they did mulligan to 6, so this trap's unlikely to be quite so insane. Trap's not great against Underground Seago. So That's a cool one. Let's play the Bazaar. Give it a spin, because I've got 2 easy discards at the moment. And now I've got 3. So Lizard, Powder. We'll play these 2 nerds, and then next turn we'll have Cradle, Oof. Unless they play a Saga. So that went very, very well. Considering how anemic our opener was, that was pretty cool. So they're going to strip me. That's not too much of a disaster. We'll play a Cradle. I will just play the Collect Roof now, I think. I've got 1 floating, so they can't daze me. They Force of Will the Cradle, not into that at all. Or not the Force of Will the Oof. So attack for 6. And cycle a Lorien, fine. Lorien finds Tundra, which opens up a whole host of other things that they can have, like plows and plows, I guess. Just plows. Only plows, that's all they can have. But we've still got this stuff going on. So let's attack for 4. And let's wasteland their Tundra. They're low on mana at the moment. They're low on resources. Every time. Okay, that was quite a cool draw. So, like, what do I do? So they've got 2 cards in hand. I can Cradle for 2 mana, play Cradle, cast Vengevine, attack for 6, you go to 3. That gets exceptionally blown out by Orcish Bowmasters. So they go to 5, and then they play a land, they've got Saga rolling. I don't have 4 mana. Or I can just attack for 4 with my current board, play a Yavimaya, and pitch Vengevine to Vigor the Saga. And how blown out by Bowmasters does that get? It gets blown out at the point where I pump. They take 1. So do I want to play around Bowmasters, or do I want to kill the Saga? I think playing the Vengevine's best. I think just like attacking them is good. So let's play a Cradle. Let's keep this Cradle. Let's play a Vengevine. And attack for 6. No Bowmaster, they're at 3. And now your Saga doesn't save you, because I've got 2 lethal attackers. Yeah, cool. Okay, so another skin of your teeth victory against the Lurith deck here. Let's bring in some Dismembers. I think I'm going to try Pick Your Poison. I'm not saying it's great. I am saying it's cool. I'm going to drop the Traps because they're rarely good. I like the Misstep, and I'm going to drop the Chalice on the draw. We'll just stick to this. I'm not sure if Pick Your Poison is good or at all playable against the Lurith decks, but it's another way to kill the Sagas, which means I can get a little bit more liberal with my Wastelands. Yeah, and it might be that I just want a Null Rod in here instead. So this hand is unplayably bad, so let's go to 5. So I've got Bazaar. Let's bottom... I'm going to bottom the Vigor. I'm going to bottom the Gaia's Cradle because I think Yavimaya is better. in this specific spot. Because it makes 2 mana, whereas Cradle only makes 1. So Saga, Petal, go. I'm just going to play a Wasteland. No Lorien cycle there, so we'll waste now. What are they floating mana for? Bowman? Flash speed Bowmasters? No, just floating a mana. Just floating that mana out there. Alright, let's give this a go then. That was quite a cool draw. So each opponent sacrifices an enchantment, please. So they float a mana, cycle Lorien, so they drew Lorien for the turn. Got themselves an Underground Sea. Good grief, man. You got a Bowmaster as well. Why wouldn't you? So Bowmaster's going to come in. I'm going to dismember the Bowmaster. Do you have permission as well? No. What do I want to discard? Bowmaster, Blazing Root Waller and Serum Powder are obvious and easy. They've got 4 cards. I've already used one of my dismembers. I think I've got to discard the Bazaar of Baghdad. I think I've got to. I think the fact that they're a Lurrus deck, a Bowmaster deck, blah blah blah, like Wasteland's really punishing here. That's just an Underground Sea, so that's fine. Another Bowmaster? No, Demonic Tutor. Okay. DT for Lotus? No, DT for something. I don't know. They don't know, I don't know. Let's just cast Collect Roof. I will attack for 1. And I think we're losing. I think we're really far behind. They're about to complete a saga. Even though they've not made any tokens off of it, it's still going to tutor like a needle or something like that. And like, get yourself a needle, Wasteland, my Yavimaya Cradle, and I've just got a Grizzly Bear. So seems to be what they're going for. They name Bazaar. They cycle Lorien. Grab Tundra. Play Tundra, so we only Lurrus, we don't know any cards in their hand. Plough, Collect Roof. Cast Ancestral. Cool. I'm going to play Hexdrinker and put a counter on it. For the fact that they had triple saga, I feel like we stayed in this game longer than we should have. Triple saga Bowmaster is not particularly beatable for Bazaar decks into Ancestral, into Cruise. And I assume plough my guy. Just have the 4th one. Why not? Time walk. Cool. Right, let's wrap this up and go to game 3. Hadn't dealt a single point of damage to them. I'm going to run it back. I still don't know if Pick Your Poison is great, but it's cool, and I want to try it again. So that was a cool spot for it, right? We drew it, we played it. Life was sweet. We killed a Saga as we intended. It might be too narrow, and I would accept that it might be too narrow. But then towards the end of that game, right, if I'd drawn it, I would have been able to make them sacrifice their needle, right? So I don't know. Maybe it's just too narrow and not very good. But we'll powder this hand. We'll keep this. We're on the play, which is tasty. 2 easy discards for this Bazaar. Any number of Vengevines off the top are most welcome. So Bazaar. No. No Vengevines. Let's just discard the Cradle, I think. And then we'll cast a hollow one, and then I'll put my Emerald into play to play around a Tabernacle. Maybe the order sequencing there was poor, but double Wasteland because our opponent has 3 Sagas in their opener anyway, so at least we got the first 2 covered. Git probe me. Okay, I'll let you see my misstep because I'd rather you have to mess around. Maybe that's awful. But I just thought maybe I'd rather you mess around trying to find permission for the Force of Will, for the plough, to not take loads of damage off the hollow one. Like, I'm attacking for 7 here with a misstep as well, so there are some things to discuss about our position here. Yet another Saga covered. So I'm going to attack, and I am going to pump the Lizard, and I'm not going to activate my Bazaar right now because I like my hand as it is. So pump Lizard, attack you for 7. And they fetch. They plough, and then we play the misstep that they know about, and it just gets through. So that's quite cool. We're gonna feel clever for about 30 seconds until they untap and go ancestral myself, plough your guy. But we got in a bit of damage, and that is the general aim. There's the ancestral. And the Mox Sapphire. Mox Jet. And a Tundra with 6 cards in hand. So, not great. They didn't buy Lurus, so they're holding Bowmasters and Plough. Or maybe just one of them. How do you play this then? Let's play a Wasteland. I think I just pre-combat the Collector Roof. I played Wasteland to play around something like Daze. That might have been bad because now I can't activate my Bazaar. They flash in a Bowmaster, kill my Lizard. Yeah. And we attack for 4. they jump block. And we'll just let them carry on. So underground C, no nothings. No buying Lurus. Oh, I can't cast my Pick Your Poison now, can I? No, it doesn't matter. So let's wasteland and underground sea. Opponent floats a black. Cast Vampiric Tutor. So what do you vamp for here in their spot? Time Twister. Does that mean I need to wasteland a Tundra as well? I guess so. I'll get my attack in first. They could have Containment Priest to trade with the Collector Roof. So I'll just attack for 4, I think. And we need to not stack abilities automatically, just in case they tabernacle me. So they get to 4. And now I'm going to wasteland now or wasteland later. Just past the end step. So there's a priest there. It's fine. They untap. I could have wasted on end step. I'm going to wasteland here. I could have wastelanded on end step. Wastelanding here gives them the mana back. But not stacking abilities means that if they... Okay, they didn't have Tabernacle. They had Plow to unlock their 2 things. Now they get a Pearl. And they buy Lurus. Okay. So it's starting to fall apart a bit for the home team here. They do not attack. We draw a Squee. I'm going to attack and see what they block with. They might block with the Bowmaster. I think I have to block with the Priest, to be honest, but yeah. Okay, so that's fine. So that dies. And then, what, they're going to go Lurus Priest. I can activate Bazaar here. No, I can't. My Hollow One's got 2 damage on it. So I could ask them to sacrifice an artifact, but that doesn't really seem like it does anything. So I'm just going to play the Hex Drinker. And either of the Cradle variants make that a 4/4 next turn. So that would be cool. A land drop from the opponent means they get their Priest back. Slightly less cool. Ugh. So Lurus, cast Containment Priest. That is a block I would make. Okay. So that was a Cradle. Which I'll play. Each opponent sacrifices an enchantment. Counters on. Counters on. And then this turn we wouldn't block and we won't attack. Because this Hex Drinker needs to get out of Bowman range pretty soon. They don't have a Bauble going. There's another Plough. 3 cards in hand for the opponent. Manifold Key. They just got Time Vault. Pithing Needle, naming Hex Drinker. Bit annoying. A squee. It was going well for a mere second there. So let's attack with Hollow One and Hex Drinker, I guess. And then they block with their 2 non-lurus creatures. I then get to activate Bazaar of Baghdad and have no mana. If I don't attack with both, they won't block with both. They won't block with the Bowman. So I think I've got to send both and try and get these squeeze to do something for me. Yeah, these Lurus decks are so difficult to beat and so difficult to attack, especially for like the squee decks, right? So we are going to get an activation on a Bazaar here. And we get to keep the Hollow One around as we do it. So that's nice. Collect Roof or Strip Mine. I guess Collect Roof is just very close to game. If it sticks. Yeah. So, Collect Roof. You need a Plough and you need it now. Gross. 3 Ploughs in the top 20 is unfortunate for the home team. Now they just get to bring back the Bowmaster. Ping me. And then the game slowly ends. Unlucky. Pretty savage. The last card being Plough, I think, is quite unlucky. Because that's 2 games now where our opponents had triple of something. Like triple Saga is very difficult. Triple Plough just in that really crucial spot. Also not ideal. So they're at 7, so they might not even block. Hollow One's a good draw. Let's attack first though. Got 1 card in hand. And they're definitely blocking with the army token, aren't they? That was a stupid thing to say. But never mind. I say plenty of stupid things. So activate Bazaar. We all know how this... Ooh. I was going to say we all know how this works, but that was certainly a draw. So you hit me twice and you get 2 dudes. You get a dude. I'm going to say okay. Okay. Cast Hollow One. And we're casting Hollow One first because now when we dismember the Lurus, we can play around Spell Pierce. Which I imagine isn't too... It might be in their deck, it might not be in their deck, but I can imagine it's certainly one you consider to take out when sideboarding in this matchup. So Lurus is dead, which means the Bowmasters are weaker. Obviously we're living on the idea that they never draw DT or Time Vault here. Or Time Twister as well would also kill us. We got our squeeze back, but we can't really leverage our squeeze against the Bowmasters right now. 2 cards for the opponent. And they've got some bricks available to them. Like Force of Will, Spell Pierce. All of this seems like nonsense. Another Bowman is not what we were after. I'm pretty sure a moment ago they were hellbent, but Hey ho. I didn't activate the Bazaar there because I just don't think pumping their dude is very good. This obviously trades. They've got 2 Bowmasters, no tokens. We were already dead to a Time Twister anyway, so that doesn't matter. They go to 3. And they've drawn something else. Oh my god. Well, congratulations. Obviously they're playing the best deck in the format, and it's full of good cards. But I feel like this is one of those games where they ran on the more exceptionally hot side of things. Yeah, because that third plough made them hellbent, and since then we've found, in 3 cards, we've found Bowmaster Time Twister. I don't know. Never mind. I'll see you for round 4. Okie dokie. Round next. We're up against Simsy. This is one of those classic hands where it's like, this is interesting if I know they're on exactly dual. But we're going to powder it anyway. And this is probably also playable if they're on dual, so that's good. Turn 1 Hollow 1, turn 2 Hex Drinker and get rolling with some traps behind. Squee is a nice little engine. So Underground Sea, Mox Sapphire, no Lurus revealed, so likely Doomsday at this point. Almost a lock to be Doomsday, I think, once they've preordained. Like out of the big decks, obviously there's other things they can do. Mox Jet. Sensei's Divining Top. I'm fine without that, so I don't know what that means. Maybe just like a Breach variant or something. So yes, no Lurus revealed, so I don't know what I'm supposed to think at the moment, but play Bazaar, activate Bazaar. What a beautiful set of cards to come off the top there. So we've got Squee as a nice little engine, and we're going to cast 2 Hollow Ones. They've got 3 cards in hand after that exchange. Next turn we get to make a relatively big Hex Drinker, despite the fact that they'd already be dead to our current board. That's cool. It's a nice little thing for us. So Ponder, could be Beseech then, I guess, as well. I don't know if Beseech plays Preordain. But I'm sure they'll make it obvious soon. Underground Sea, cast another top. Just PO. Activates top. No, cool stuff. I'm still disappointed with the last round against that Lurus deck. I don't know. I don't know if they did run hot, or I'm just imagining it, or what. I felt like there was some very crucial spots that they did well in, but never mind. On to this one, and now we've been posed this question. Yeah, I guess it's better just to... Well, I can activate... What does activating do? It doesn't really do anything, does it? I'm discarding Squee and Hex Drinker. And one of the drawn cards. To play... What, a Wasteland maybe? That might be good actually. And then... Cradle, Vigor your stuff. Yeah, I think I like that actually. So let's activate. Completely preface on the fact that I'm drawing Wasteland. No other cards I can draw here. Is what this whole play is based upon. Yeah. I can't cast 2 spells. Does casting Vengevine increase the clock? No. So let's go discarding Hex Drinker. Squee Goblin the Bob, and Vengevine. Let's play a Strip Mine. Strip Mine your Underground Sea. They've got 2 cards in hand, and they activate the top. We're going to attack them for 10, and then we'll play Cradle, and we'll blow up their 2 lands. So bing, 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 bing. And then we'll have the trap left over. I played a Strip Mine. I'm so stupid. Good grief. Apparently, you can't play 2 lands in a turn. Never mind, we've still got the trap. If they're like... it's going to be like PO and kill you, isn't it? Aye. So I have got a trap on the next big spell, so that'll be nice. But I wish they didn't have a jet or a pearl and had an underground sea instead. So I should just trap Lavinia because I can. Really. That might just do it. This might be a chump blocking Lavinia, yeah. So yeah, I got lucky there. I just completely forgot about the rules and the general game engine, game function. With the Lavinias, I think I want some dismembers. 3 might be excessive, but I need to find them. Definitely another Null Rod, and 2 Bosages can come in. So that's 6 cards that I'm considering at the moment. Even on the draw, Chalice is cool. Traps are cool. Probably not a Squee matchup. Probably not a Hex Drinker matchup. Could consider cages, a select number of cages. Like maybe drop a Cradle, add a cage just for Tinker. But that seems a bit narrow. I think I need the Cradles to... I need the Cradles to make sure I'm casting my Collect Roofs and Null Rods. So there's a Null Rod, a Vigor, potentially a turn 1 Vengevine. We keep this hand. I've got a Leyline of the Void. That's fine, I think. It was a bit annoying on the terms of clock and stuff, but it just makes my pitch really easy. So Flutterstrand, Lotus, Sapphire. So I'll respond to Mox Opal. Do I want to kill the Leyline or the Lotus? I'm going to go after the Lotus, I think. So I'm pitching the Vengevine anyway. They might just have Flusterstorm. That's fine. Okay, Nate. So they've got 4 floating mana. They might just have Tinker as well. It could just be a turn 1 Tinker. They're up to 5 mana here. Turn 1 Lorien revealed would be funny. Narset. Gross. Narset reveals Preordain. Preordain gets cast off the 1 floating from the Lotus. On the plus side, they are down to 2 cards in hand after this Preordain. They've got a dead Mox Opal. I'm going to play Wasteland and pass the turn. I don't want to waste the Tundra because I don't want to get Sagaed. Narset gets activated and they find a top. Top turns on their opal. I really just need a mana producing land in for this rod to get through. So immediately flips the top. That's fine. Maybe Bazaar was better. Bazaar, draw 1, discard. Powder, Lizard. I don't know. Doesn't sound good. I just wanted to make mana producing lands and this is my only one. So they're going to pass to us anyway. If this is a mana producing land, it's not. Okay. So we play the Bazaar then. And pass the turn. And now I've got 2 easy discards and the Bazaar's another like redundant discard if I'm able to stay alive. Three mana, Yawgmoth Will. Okay. So that's going to be Sapphire, Lotus, Flooded Strand, Preordain. So yeah, it's quite a lot of value. More than I can probably cope with, both emotionally and in the game. I get Scrubland, fuck me. They've got a PO, they've got Teferi. I've got to activate in response to Teferi. So 2 lizards is kind of cute here. That's gonna, one of them's gonna kill one of these planeswalkers, and the other one can get bounced, but that does mean I get to resolve a Null Rod, unless of course the Teferi goes to the sky, goes up. They might just bounce some Mox Opal as well to get more mana, depending on what their last card is. You got 1 floating. Teferi goes up. Teferi up is sad. So I now can't cast any more lizards that I draw, just as a wee reminder. Yavimaya Cradle produces less mana than I want. Right, yeah. So one card in hand. So I think I go Cradle, cast Null Rod. And then I'll go to combat. And I'll attack Narset and I'll attack Teferi. I could have 2'd it Teferi, but this is going to get me a Bazaar activation here and now. They've got 1 card in hand plus a top. And I do find a hollow one, which is big and threatening. So that's cool. Over to them, they've got 1 card in hand. They do get to bounce my Null Rod. I don't think I can use my Wasteland right now. I think I want to hold that for a Saga or a potential Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. So opponent probably just has to bounce the Null Rod. Yeah, they bounce Null Rod, so they go up to 3 cards in hand, plus they get to look with top. So play Delta. Two mana. Walk would be annoying. How's this DT? Oof. DT's rough. DT get PO, pick up 5 permanents, 6 permanents, something like that. Yeah, 5 plus the top, so they draw 6. Maybe even pick up to Fairy, draw 7. That sounds unbeatable. Yeah, I just feel like that. Yeah, you're always just slightly behind, aren't you, with this deck? Just slightly behind where the format is at the moment. Oh no, so DT pass the turn can't ever be a thing. Balance. Balance is weird. So I can like wasteland my cradle, and you go to 1 land. That doesn't seem very good. Sure. My creatures are dead. That means I can't cast my Null Rod now. What was wrong with PO though? That's what I don't understand. DTPO 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. I'm not saying I'm coming back from that. What I am saying is I don't understand it. So Misstep is dead. What game is this? Is this game 3? I don't know where we are. I want to concede. Right, so this is game 2. Okay. And I'm up a game. I've got 1 card in hand and a top active. Let's just keep my Null Rod and see what happens next turn. They plus, and then they plus, and they bounce my Null Rod again. No, I think we're just dead. They didn't... Unsure about the balance line, but I think it was good enough. I'm happy with where my deck is as well. The Dismembers are a bit aggressive, but an early Lavinia just really locks me out, doesn't it? Maybe I can have like a Squee instead of a Dismember. So this is only 1 mana source, but like triple Null Rod. That can't be good. Better than this. So we'll powder and we'll keep a Collector Reef in our deck. And now we'll go to less cards. That's a pretty quick one. Put 2 cards on the bottom. Like Wasteland Red Lizard. And then I'm praying to draw a Cradle variant exactly next turn. Or just bottom the Collector Reef and hope to be quick. I think that's better. So Collector Reef and Hollow One and Wasteland go. And just, you're dead on turn 3 is roughly what we're saying. Obviously they can balance me. That would be their whole hand as well. Opponents deep in the tank on their keep as well. Obviously they had ley lines last game, which might have the ley lines might have done something against one of my Vengevines, but I think I only saw one Vengevine throughout the game. But historically, Vengevine Leyline's very bad against this deck. Well, not very bad, but just not particularly good. Hang on, I just sideboarded in a squee against a known Vengevine, a known Leyline. That was definitely loose. Okay, opponent is here, and they kept 7 with a Leyline. We'll move to our main phase. We'll play our Bazaar. Give it the old activate. We have to keep one of these 2 that we draw here. Cradle and Wasteland are really high up in our things we want. I'm just going to discard the Oof. And I'm going to play the triple hollow ones. Balance kills us. Tabernacle kills us. Other lines also kill us. So hollow one gets through. Hollow one gets through. Hollow one gets through. You'll go, and there's a lot that we can concede to quite quickly here. But like, I don't think we concede to balance. I think we concede to Tabernacle. They might just have us dead to rights anyway. Good grief. This is one of these classic points where it's like, my opponent tanked for 5 minutes or something, or 4 minutes on their keep, and really they just went and made a cup of tea. I was hoping they had like a really sketchy leyline hand, and they're like, I've got to keep the leyline. But nope. Just 3 bits of jewellery and a PO. I feel like you could pick up the leyline there though, right? Like, you could get the extra card. I'm not doing anything. The hollow one bounce is kind of sick actually for us, because it now means that it now means I get an activation here, and yeah, I get to keep a cradle. So these go away. I get to play a cradle, pump this nerd. They've got 5 cards in hand, so we can still definitely die very easily. Yeah, my mana's gone, I get it. But now I get to play around Tabernacle at Pendle Vale. So let's kill Teferi and attack you for 11. Balance is bad. Tabernacle's not. But balance, like, mind twists them as well. Tabernacle's fine. Tabernacle doesn't do anything. You need to kill me, or you need to balance me. Yeah, cool, I'll tap my cradle. Okay, opponent has plays. 4 mana. Sure, yeah, PO's fine. What are you drawing to, Vigor? Yeah, Teferi bounce really kind of won us that game, didn't it? I might have top decked the Cradle anyway. I don't know the order, but Teferi bounce giving us the extra card in hand to go and dig for the Cradle. Really sick. Right, that was cool though. I think we're now 2-2 going into the final round, so I'll see you there. Okay, 5th and final round. We've won a die roll, which is kind of cool. We're up against Matthias Hardstyle. Maybe they're a DJ or something. So, yeah, it's been a cool league so far, actually. This is a nice powder hand for us. They've revealed a Lurrus, our 3rd Lurrus of the day. I don't think I can keep this. So it's mulligan to 6. Bazaar, 2 lizards and a squee. That seems pretty cool. Although my Bazaars are usually dead early doors against the Lurrus because they're a 5 wasteland deck. But I also powdered on the play, so that means they know what they're up against, which means they know they're sort of incentivized at that point to mulligan to find a wasteland, but they don't need to mulligan. Wait, I've got to put a card on the bottom? How does that seem fair? So I guess I'll bottom trap. Wasteland kills a Saga. Cradle makes my Root Wall as an actual like clock. So let's go with that as a general plan. I would love a Vengevine or a Hollow One off the top, although 2 Hollow Ones have already made their way to exile. Along with a Squee, a Strip Mine, and a Boseiju. So more likely a Vengevine than a Hollow One, but I would like something. A third Lizard wouldn't go amiss. Hollow One, decent. Cool. We'll drop the... I'm so stupid. Ugh. I hate this game sometimes. You just are talking and click the wrong button. Never mind. So, no thing. No strip. White, Samwise, pick up my... Okay, sure. That's cool. I'm going to get another Bizarre activation, so that's dope. You've got a Ring Bearer. Cool, we'll activate. Didn't get there on the next creature. What do I want to discard then? Does that change how I want to do this? Do I want to discard the powder and try and ramp up the Vengevine? Is it better to do that, or is it better just to put the Lizard into play? Yeah, I think it's better to put the Lizard into play. Annoying that I didn't have it this turn, but what are you going to do? And then we'll play the crate. We'll attack first, I think. Yeah, let's attack first. We know they're holding a Misty, so we'll play the Cradle. And I am tempted to play the Serum Powder, but I think the extra discard actually is better, even though they haven't wastelanded us yet. So that's a Caracas. So they've got some sort of loop going on here. Just infinite blocks, right? But I've got a wasteland, so a lower amount of infinite than they're expecting. So let's think this through and actually try and execute a turn effectively at this stage in the evening. We've got Activate Bazaar of Baghdad, discarding one of the 2 cards that we draw, and a Squee and a Powder. And then I can tap my Cradle for 3, cast Collect Roof, Hex Drinker, maybe discard a Lizard, maybe play a Hollow One, wasteland your Caracas and attack. I think that sounds good. They've got 4 cards in hand. I've got a misstep for their Plow. Yeah. Seems like we could be in a reasonable spot here. And if I draw a Collector Roof, then I will play Wasteland and just tap Wasteland and to have 2 oofs and bring back the Vengevine. And then that will give them 1 more Samwise trigger, but we can Wasteland the Caracas next turn. So opponent's thinking they've not got any black mana. I think Samwise doesn't get played in the black versions at all. So I think we're just against strict blue-white at the moment. Opponent does have a cat. So yeah, so we just draw it all actually. So Serum Powder, Squee, Basking Rootwaller. And then cast this Lizard. And like if they misstep the Lizard or misstep the Hex Drinker, then my misstep's not going to go on the stack. I'd rather misstep Plows and misstep Ancestrals, I believe. So opponent's having a bit of a think. 4 cards in hand for them. One of them's a Misty Rainforest. So 3 cards that are, you know, relevant or potentially relevant at this point. Right, the lizard is in. And I'm going to lead on the Hex Drinker, I think. Yeah, I'll play Hex Drinker first. I get a Vengevine back. I still think I'm going to roll out the Collector Roof though, because that's just more mana denial. And then we'll put one counter on the Hex Drinker. And they've just conceded, so that's cool. Peak AggroVining. I'm not sure about the opponent's keep here. When I powder first, I think you need to go and find a wasteland. I don't know. I might be completely off base. I don't know how to play Lurrus decks. I've never actually registered one, but that would be my honest opinion. I'm going to just get rid of the traps and the chalice, and I'm going to bring in the 3 dismembers, and I'm going to bring in 1 Boseiju and 1 Pick Your Poison. How does that sound? Pick Your Poison only kills Saga, and it's also like an early doors needle thing. I don't know. This card might not be good in the Lurrus matchups, but I want to try it. I know I tried it earlier, and I got to apply it at least once today, maybe even twice against Lurrus. Yeah, it seems interesting to me. So let's see. Okay, so opponent reveals a Lurrus. We've got a Bazaar, Wasteland, Dismember, Squeeze. That seems good. We'll keep this. 2 Collector Roofs, not ideal, but let's see what happens. That's a Scalding Tarn and no further plays. I think Collector Roof's not quite as good. Not quite as good against the blue-white version than it is against the blue-black version. The blue-black version is a bit more focused on artifacts. That was not the best Bazaar activation in the world, but we do get another one in a moment. With a Squee to come back to us, so nice bit of deck velocity, lots of search. Don't really have as many good discards now though, like the powder was really easy and the third oof is unlikely to be needed. So Tundra cycles Lorien, Lorien finds Tundra I expect. Yep. And Tundra comes down. An opponent has a walk. Okay, so they get to go again. Very nice. So opponent's additional turn. They have a wasteland. My Bazaar dies. And they cast Samwise to pick up wasteland. That's not cool, if I'm honest. That is not cool. I do get my Squee back, which is great. That's a Boseiju. So, do I just start deploying 2/2s? I think so. Like, I'll play a Wasteland this turn, and if they Wasteland me, I get to kill their Tundra. They can't deploy a Saga. And then, if my Wasteland stays in play, then I get to cast a Collector Roof. And then that gives me another few draws before I use this second Bazaar of Baghdad. I've also got Dismember if they play something annoying like a Lurrus. It's a very slow approach to the game, but it's just trying to maximize that one Bazaar activation that I know I've got, right? If I knew my Bazaar was uncontested, then I could just play Bazaar and get churning. But where I've only got one Bazaar activation on each Bazaar, I want my Bazaar to bring something back, or put a hollow one into play, or dump 3 lizards, something like that. So opponent's going to get in for their 2 points of damage now. And post-combat, They have a Lavinia. Okay. And a Wasteland. And a Pithing Needle. What are you going to needle? Wasteland. Bizarre. Bizarre. Okay, so it's annoying, but not the end of the world. We don't know any of the cards in their hand. They're having a little moment to themselves on their end step. Okay, and we draw a Vengevine. So I'm going to play Boseiju. I'm going to cast Collect Roof. Opponent's 3 cards plus a Lurus to buy at some point. I think if they force this, we can just concede. We're so far behind. So the youth resolves. They might just wasteland my Boseiju. Plough my youth, waste my Boseiju. Oh, Black Lotus. Cool for you. We take 4, we go to 16. Wastelands Boseiju plays Manifold Key, 1 card left. We draw a Misstep. Let's go to the next game. So, I don't think I want this Pick Your Poison. I think I'd rather have another Boseiju. Or no, maybe Chalice on the draw is better. Is it though? Because I don't think they're playing many Moxen. I could have another Null Rod, I could have another Boseiju. I think I want another Boseiju. I know 20 lands is a lot of lands, but if we're just getting wasted and everything, then maybe it's good. Well, they just showed me a key, so maybe a Null Rod's better. No, I've got 4 Boseijus, I can kill everything. Okay. So, opponent's on 61 cards and a Lurus, so 62 cards, so they're already beating us on card quantity and quality, so we're pretty far behind, but this hand is pretty good. I'm going to keep this. And I am going to go Emerald Lotus Hexdrinker, I think, before activating. What do I think of that? Does that sound good? Emerald Hexdrinker Lotus, Emerald Lotus Hexdrinker. I don't know. So much to do, so much to think about. So I can make a 4/4 that doesn't die to plough on turn 1 if it gets through. So maybe I actually want a Bazaar first, because I want to draw a hollow one. Not allowed. These are my lizards. Do I slow roll the Hexdrinker? I can't imagine so. So let's cast an Emerald. Let's cast a Hexdrinker. Cast a Lotus. And we'll put counters on the Hexdrinker. And the next turn the Hexdrinker will be a 6/6. And we're insulating against a Tabernacle if not. You'll go. Again, Balance is a card that they could have. Balance would be annoying. Land Mox Balance. Yeah, I still think you play it how I played it. Oh, there's Saga. I might be able to raise a Saga though, that's the thing with this spot, isn't it? So yeah, we can activate Bazaar. Holy hell. What's better, Hollow One or Collector Oof? I guess Collector Oof is better, because like a Turbo Time Vault is the only way I lose this, right? So I'm going to discard the Hollow One and the Lizard. So maybe this is how you beat Lurus. You just get very, very fast hands. Ah, Josh, you fucking tool. Never mind. So let's pump one of these guys. I do apologise. It's far too close to 11 PM to be playing Magic. Oh, that was so bad. Ah, we got there anyway. So, yeah. That was cool. I actually enjoyed that league. We got the full 15 game value out of it. So, proper value for money league with the rebuy as well. We played 3 Lurus decks and went 2-1 against them. So, maybe this is a good spot to be. It's just it's like you're close against Lurus. I'm not convinced about the Oath matchup. That's why I'm so heavily prepped for it. Let's have a look at the deck. So yeah, the Oath matchup I'm not sure about at the moment. And the combo matchups are getting better. The addition of the 4 traps, which I think was Montolio, is very good. Obviously, Collect Roof's great against the current combo decks in the format as well, with Jewel being the primary one, and the traps giving you a bit of equity against Doomsday and that sort of thing. So I kind of like where it's at, but I do always feel like you're slightly behind, you're slightly underpowered, and the Lurus matchups are still very close and very difficult as you saw them today. So I'm probably going to play with this deck a bit more. If I register a challenge this weekend, it might be with this. But yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if there's any points where I completely punted away games. But 3-2 in the league, 1 against the dope Fast Bond deck, where, yeah, I sort of didn't know what we were playing against until game 3, and I'm happy losing to, Cool Brews. They're out there playing their Fast Bond Saga deck, and I think that's great. I might see if they've got a deck list anywhere. But 2-1 against Lurus decks and beating PO as well. It's nice because this deck's always been very weak to combo. So let me know what you think of the build, and I'll see you again soon. Take it easy, bye.